Hi, Lily. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Let's see here.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Let me see. I don't see your video, but that's okay.
Hello?
Okay, let me see.
Hello?
Yeah, let me go ahead and mute. Hi, Lily.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can, but I can't see you.
Okay, well, let's figure that out.
Yeah, let me re-invite you to video. Hold on.
Okay, great.
I'm going to redo this. Okay. Invite to video. Is that
Hello?
Hello?
I can see myself in the video. Can you see me?
No, I wonder why I can't see. Hold on. Oh, wait, I can't see you. It's just this phone. Okay. Maybe because, let me fix this. Oh, now I see you. Hoo-hoo.
Hi.
Hi. So can you turn the camera just the other way? Because for some reason it's registering. Okay, like that. And then maybe try to turn it again and see if
Okay.
it does anything. Because your name should be underneath you.
How's that?
And if we have to do it vertical, that's fine because I can still edit vertically. So
Okay.
all right. So if you want to turn it back vertically, maybe that'll work. That
How
works
is
good.
that?
See? Oh, yay. I think we're on the same page now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Oh my gosh, you look so pretty. Is green your favorite color?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, mine too. So
It's my signature. And do you want me to put AirPods in? Is that better for audio or are you good with this?
you sound fantastic. Can you hear me good? And let's see here. Do we have okay. Yeah, so this is Mark Cuban's new podcasting
Amazing.
platform. And it's great because I do so many multiple cuts of my shows that it works out great because after the show wraps, I get, your individual interview, mine, so I can cut it up any way I want. And I just found it's better than Zoom. And then I love the fact that we can have people pop in like our own, we have some regulars that pop in that I give that link to, the one that I gave you. And so they'll chime in and, we'll call people up if they have a question or whatnot. But typically it's still, very intimate.
I love it.
Let's see here. Let me make sure I've got baby Jesus. Let me see if I look okay.
You look gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, you're so nice.
Are you kidding? Look at that headband with that blouse.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It's part of my COVID wardrobe, when we didn't wear anything for 2 years and I just had stuff sitting there. So I'm trying to get through all of it,
Yeah, for sure.
But we got about 4 minutes. I typically start at 1:00 on the dot because that's what I tell people. But overall, this is just a cool conversation, just about, it was my executive producer and hopefully she's going to pop on. So she's good friends. She's really good friends with Ashley. You were on their podcast. Yeah. So, Jamie is single. So she was telling me about you. And so that's how I got onto it and I started listening and I was like, oh my God, this girl is like a ball of energy. Like she's amazing. And I remember I used to watch that show. Was it Patty? It was like a matchmaker.
Yeah. Millionaire Matchmaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Are they still doing that? They don't do that anymore.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but that was my life for 3 years as matchmaking in New York.
Really? So that's real life. I mean, that happens. That's the real deal. And so, we'll start off with just a little background and then how you fell into the work that you do now, which I really honestly, not everybody who's joining us, some of them are married, they're going to be, or they have friends that are single. And, but I also like just your positive outlook just on self-care and our own life and really just getting down to the core of what you want. So, we might get into a little of that as well, that universal message.
Well, I think that it's all about being in the right relationship, period. Whether that's with you're already in it and you want to make it better, or with yourself. That's the work, really. It's for, I think I talk to single women, but it's for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I know, and that's what I thought too. I was like, you don't have to. You can be happily married and tune in, and you're gonna walk away with something. And that's what I found, like listening to every talk that you've given, and then your
Thank you.
TikToks and all that, and then we'll be able to tell people where to find you. It's fun. We've got Mark, Walter, and Lily, a couple of our friends popping in. Good to see you guys. And just so that it doesn't alarm you, so you hear those sounds. So there's sound effects. So sometimes people will clap or laugh or whatever. So if you hear it,
I won't be like, whoa, what's happening?
Where did that come from?
All good.
So yeah, so we are, let's see here, 12:58, 2 minutes away. Let me make sure I got all my notes. And then and I'm a one-woman show, so I'm like running the board here.
Yeah.
So if I'm like looking down, I'm still listening. I'm just trying to manage the, if people pop in or if somebody, writes in that they want a question. Oh, let me put something inside our fortune cookie. Do you have a saying or anything that you want me to put in the fortune cookie?
Yeah. What is meant for you will not pass you by.
I love that. DateBrazen.com. Yay, let's update our fortune cookie. That's the little thing, that scroll that's going across.
So fun.
Yes.
And Angie, are you coupled? Are you single?
Married with 3 children, 3 dogs, 3 hermit crabs, and just recently acquired a hamster named Prince Louis. I cannot keep up. Yeah.
Wow.
So
it's a full house.
It's a full mother effing house. And but I love it, and then I'm working, full time. So right after this I race in to, do our Fox shows.
Yes.
And I'll be there till like 2 a.m. It's great. I love it.
Thank you. My God. And is cursing okay or not okay? What do you prefer? Okay.
No. Yeah, no, I'm a potty mouth. Like everybody knows that. I clean it up for television. As the viewers know, and if there is any cursing that I use for TV, we bleep it out, of course, so we don't get fined. But I think the worst I've ever said on TV live was an a-hole, which I think is fine, right? I mean, a-hole's not bad.
Yeah, life can be so hard sometimes.
Life can be hard. It is, but it's funny because you get a censor, like all of a sudden you become, and I've been trying not to curse as much. And so I've been using words like fudge and, God dang it. And my kids are like, Mom, this is so weird. Like they just think it's odd now. And I'm like, that's not good. I'm trying to be a better person here, kids. Okay. So it looks like, our friend Bruce is in here. Bruce, how's the audio? He always gives me a clap if it's good. Not good? Good. We are getting started. Let's pull this up. I probably should have done this a little earlier, but just in case some people come text me during the show, I have to turn all the notifications off so we don't get interrupted.
Great.
Let's see here. All right. Okay, let me grab this. I'm sorry, I should have done this and I was talking the whole time. Guys, just hang by. Oh, and April's here. Hi, April. This is Fireside. And we've got Lily. Yes. Beautiful. Love this. Okay. Okay, here we go. Got that. And we are ready to rock and roll. All right, everybody ready to get started? Let me hear ya. Oh gosh, I love it. All right. Well, listen, before we get started, we always got some house cleaning to do or some business. And that includes sharing this for our firesiders who are joining us, whether you're joining us in our intimate audience, personal audience here. Aish, good to see you. Ray, nice to see you as well. Then go ahead, share with your firesiders. And if you're just watching from afar and you're on Fireside, please do that too. Because the more the merrier, because we're going to change people's lives today. We're going to help them find love. Oh my Womble. Yep. That's what I'm saying today, because Lily Womble is our guest today for this edition of Oh My Goff. She is the Date Brazen founder and CEO. But before that, she was one of the top matchmakers in the country. She was the swipe master, so to speak, okay? Her numbers don't lie. But out of that experience, which we are going to talk about, she has turned into this OG dating coach and life coach. And she is not only helping people fix their lives, but also fix their hearts and really find what it is that their heart needs and wants. She's also debunking all those scams out there, those dating apps. I'm not saying they're all scams, but she's getting to the nitty gritty of it. She's going to debunk some of the dating myths in this digital age that a lot of people are dealing with. And really at the end of this conversation, whether, I don't care if you're married, you're in an open marriage, you're doing whatever. We all know somebody who is looking for love or who is at a loss and who is missing that component of their life. And we all want to find ways to pull out a tool to help them. And so if anything, there's going to be a great takeaway from this and a lot of clarity. And so with that said, Lily Womble, thanks so much for joining us.
So glad to be here, Angie.
Woo-hoo. So let's get right into, how do you become a matchmaker? I mean, is this something you went to school for? I want to be a solid gold dancer. That didn't work out. I then thought I was joining the military, didn't get into West Point. I think that was for the better. My dad said I couldn't bring all my shoes. And then I was like, storytelling, and it took a while to get there. But do you just wake up and say, I want to make people fall in love?
No, absolutely not. I was working in the feminist nonprofit space. So I was going to conferences in Malaysia and in Turkey and working in international women's rights and development. And, when I wanted a shift in my career, I honestly, Angie, I burnt out of the nonprofit life, which is so common. And so I was looking around for a job. I was living in New York. I had like 5 side hustles. And my friend said, there's this matchmaking firm looking for matchmakers. And I was like, that's hilarious. I had no idea that exists. It'll be a funny story. Like, that's why I applied, because I needed a job. I thought it'd be a funny story. But then once I went through the rigorous application process and the interview process where I had to pretend that my client was being stood up and what would I say to them and all of these high stakes emotional conversations, I realized that dating was a microcosm of well-being. That dating was this microcosm of every hope, joy, dream, fear, insecurity, desire that we have. And that in that way, I could help women be well through the lens of their dating lives as a matchmaker. So that's what it was sort of sink or swim. I for the first year, I was just sort of bumbling along in that job. And then in year 2, I really hit my stride and became one of the top matchmakers out of 160 at that firm. And that's how I got started in that industry.
It's a top firm. I mean, this is a big firm, one of the elite firms. And so you became top 3 in this, and then something dawned on you. You were like, and tell me about that epiphany.
Well, I mean, to tell you about that epiphany, I've got to tell you about my personal life, which at the time was in not a great place. I was in a really toxic romantic relationship with somebody who I thought was good enough simply because they wanted to be with me. I was shoving my needs into a box because of my fear, because of my internal story that I was, quote, too much, that I was too intense, too bossy, too loud, too opinionated, too sensitive. And so while I was giving advice to my matchmaking clients, like, you deserve the best, let's get you on some great dates, I myself was accepting so very little as a later bloomer in life. And so I noticed this dichotomy. And when through a lot of therapy, I gained the courage to leave that toxic relationship, I sort of looked around for what is my next step? Like, I got into this relationship. I don't want to settle again. So what am I going to do to prepare myself to find the best for me, to believe that I deserve the best? So I looked around at my therapist. She was so helpful in so many ways, and she hasn't dated in 30 years. She didn't know like what to tell me. My friends and family told me to play the numbers game, to get on more dating apps, to just swipe a little more. Are you sure you can trust what you want? Are you being too picky, right? And that, we can get into it. I think that dating advice, while well-meaning, is rooted in the patriarchy and rooted in women playing small.
Yeah.
Then I looked at matchmaking. And while I was, top matchmaker, I saw that long-term, they weren't measuring the long-term metrics. The long-term metrics were that most people were not achieving their relationship that they wanted from that resource. So I was like, there has to be a way for me to be my own expert matchmaker and to really advocate for myself in my dating life in a way that is wholehearted. And so I started to coach myself. I started to ask myself questions that were hard, Angie, like, what stories were beneath the surface of me accepting so very little? Where did that come from? What did I really want, and why did I want those things? What were my essence-based preferences? What if I was allowed to want what I wanted? And so from those baseline questions, I started to build a dating life that felt like self-care, in which I was really caring for myself. I was setting the boundaries. I was asking for what I wanted out loud. I was being bold and courageous. And so I had fun, single. I was having fun, and I started coaching my matchmaking clients on the side, secretly, and they started to find better dates for themselves than I or anybody else could find for them. And I met the love of my life as a result of this work. Because before doing this work, I think I would have been getting in my own way of finding the right connection. And so that's when, about 5 years ago, I decided to break up with matchmaking and start Date Brazen, because I knew that with the right tools, women could be their own best matchmaker and advocate.
Yeah, and what a story. By the way, do you meet the love of your life? Deserves an applause. Yes. I know whenever somebody goes through something transformational like that, it's scary. I mean, you make it sound easy, but I know what it's like to walk away from a job that's secure, that you're good at, people like you at, but in the heart of hearts, you just know that there's something else out there, or that you're not totally whole. And so there's risk involved, but that's the only way we grow, right? And from there, look at you. I mean, you're skyrocketing here. Your TikTok is taking off. People love it. Date Brazen. We talk about dating specifically, but what I really liked about you when I started listening to some of your podcasts is that it really transcends just finding love. Self-care, we think about putting on a sheet mask. Hey, I'm the biggest person that I take at night. I take a warm bath almost every night. Like, that is my zen. I drink some wine, maybe some sipping tequila, whatever it takes. And to me, I'm self-caring for myself. But you really flipped this on its head for me. I've never viewed my relationship and how it feeds into my soul, as a form of self-care.
Yes.
So I think that's it starts with perspective, right? Because I know that there's some people here, I'm not going to call you out, that especially that's in our audience right now, our personal audience, that would say, well, you've said, Lily, dating apps suck, right? And I know there's a lot of reasons why, but what's the answer then? What's the answer in this day and age?
Yeah, so Tinder just turned 10, right? The New York Times just did that whole article about how Tinder turns 10. That the dating app space has changed the landscape of how we think about and do dating in a way that can be helpful and can be detrimental to our mental health. And so I've been saying this for 5 years, that, dating apps are really difficult on our nervous systems, that dating apps can make dating feel even more hopeless than when we didn't have that resource. They can also be a powerful tool when you use them with intention. So when I was on TikTok, bumbling around with a few thousand followers, I love them. I'm grateful for them. I felt like the best kept secret around as a business. And then this past, this year, I made a video about how dating apps are a scam, how they are taking advantage of users, how they are rewiring the pleasure center of our brain to crave cheap rewards. And it went, millions of views viral. And so that sort of allowed the conversation for me, allowed me to come and hang out with you and hang out with so many other fabulous humans. And I'm so grateful that we're talking about how dating apps can be difficult so that we can get in the powerful what now conversation. The what now conversation is, okay, let's create an intentional strategy because you want something and it's not here yet. And the space between you want something and it's not here yet can be really frustrating. And so the strategy that I talk about is both mindset and tactics. Okay. The mindset is when you're dating in person, which I think that if we look at a dating life as a pie, I think 60% of that pie should be in-person dating and 40% of that pie should be online.
But that's hard.
Yes, it is. And it's possible. When I say in-person dating, Angie, I think people think, oh my God, I should be going on dates that I meet in person 60% of the time. No, 60% of in-person dating means get out in the world and build your most joyful life. Okay. Get out in the world and do things that bring you so much joy that you're filling your cup. And you're filling your cup so much so that it pours out of you to approach somebody. It pours out of you. I had a client the other day who's doing this process. And she said, a man approached me at a bar and said, your energy is so beautiful. I had to say hello and I had to ask for your number. Can I take you out this week? She was like, because of the joy building that I'm doing in the world, my energy is now attracting people to me. And then on a dating app, using it with intention means a lot of boundaries, means knowing what you want, and means asking for it often out loud and not settling for less.
But there's also time constraints because I feel like I like looking at my friends' apps and just like swiping because I'm like, oh, this is fun. To me, it's like a game, right? Because I've been married so long and, I have, a brood that I think the first dating app, it wasn't even an app. It was in 2001. I was like it was on dial-up. And I went on AOL like matchmaker or something. But it was so taboo. You didn't tell anybody about it. I was living in LA and I remember I went out and I met the guy and he was 7 feet tall. And by the end of the night, my neck hurt so bad from just like looking up. I was like, this is not going to work out. And I knew it. That was the extent of my dating experience online. But it is so fun to look and swipe, but it's just like choice paralysis. I feel like this is like the TJ Maxx of trying to find your life. Like, I'm like, what aisle do we started? And how do you know this is real? So it's just so overwhelming. And I just know friends who are on multiple apps and they just cannot find anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I say that I think that a mindset shift that I would recommend to your friends is to shift away from viewing a dating app as the answer. That's what we you beautifully titled our chat today, like dating apps aren't the answer. Like when people, let's talk women specifically, are looking to a dating app to prove what they want is possible. The dating app is always going to prove to you that what you want is not possible, right? If you're giving the app that much power over what you deeply desire, over that microcosm of your well-being, then you will fall prey to being taken advantage of by the addictive app.
Is that because the app's like that? Is this the algorithm working against us? Or is this love?
It is so our human brains do their job, which is to gather information, confirmation bias, to confirm the stories that we already have playing in our heads. So if your friends say, I'm just not finding anybody, then your brain is going to search for more data to prove that story right.
Yeah.
And so that is why, and our brains also love to look at faces. We love to look at human faces, especially when some of them are really cute. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that I think the algorithm is a very flawed piece of tech that is not caught up with like what we think it is, right? Like it's not working in our favor. So trusting a dating app to you see it when people say like, I don't know why this person was served to me. This is not what I want. Well, the dating app is just giving you as much of the good stuff as you need to keep coming back, but not enough of the right stuff for you to get you off the app completely.
Do you see it? Because I look at Facebook and Instagram. I tell people all the time, I'm like, these apps, yeah, they're all about community and sharing, but they're marketing tools.
They are built to
Is
make
that how
money.
you view dating apps? I mean, this is a big business.
It's a $3 billion business, if not more so right now. You know, I think that we look at also, just to get really nerdy with it, Match Group is the conglomerate that owns most every single dating app except for Bumble. Like Match.com, Hinge, Tinder, eHarmony, Plenty of Fish, all Grindr, all owned by Match. Actually, I don't know about Grindr. I want to fact check myself on that, but I do know that those are owned by Match. And in 2018, the FTC sued Match Group for fraudulent dating app behavior, like creating bots to lure people into paid app upgrades. So I'm just saying that a dating app can be a powerful tool when you are in charge of it.
So which ones do we use, and are there rules?
So I like to look, I like to say I hate all dating apps equally. I don't think any of them are necessarily better than the others. However, I do think we got to think about our brain's cognitive load. Our brain has a cognitive overload limit. And so when we spend too much time on any dating app, when we swipe too much on any resource, our brain's going to go into cognitive overload. We're not going to make good decisions. So I recommend an app that is a one at a time swipe model, just to help your brain out. I recommend Hinge or Bumble, to like one or the other, just one dating app, not 5, not 3, because I also only recommend 20 minutes a day.
Oh, really? And in the morning, at night, like when?
Whenever you feel beautiful, whenever you feel awake, and whenever you feel like that time can be sacred for you to invest in yourself in this way.
All right. I have to bring somebody in here and she's going to kill me, but you better accept my video invite, Aish. Where are you? This is one of my favorite people in the world, my Aish warrior, and she's a hard worker, successful woman, full of life and joy, works a lot. And not that this is, I'm trying to get a free impromptu dating sesh with you, Lily, but Aish, what's been the problem with you, girl?
I don't think there's a problem with me. No, I don't know. I was listening to exactly what you're saying. And it's funny because I agree with you. I think like a lot of it is also just working on myself, which is also kind of what I've been doing, in a way, taking a bit of a step back in dating and just focusing on like my friendships and building more of a life in DC. I just moved to the city like 2 years ago. So that's what I usually try to spend my weekends on, and then making room in the middle of that too, of like, okay, like here's someone who like I talk to on one of these apps. I can, go on a date with them. But yeah, I'm over the phase of like just accepting every date or every whatever.
Yeah. How many do you accept, Aish, usually? Or do you not? I mean, are you like doing 5 dates a week, or,
No.
I mean, not to get personal, but.
No. Usually, if anything, it's like once a week. I typically like Sunday afternoons are my date days. This past weekend was kind of weird, where I had 2 in a row, but I was just like talking to 2 people for like a couple weeks. So yeah. But yeah, I usually try to vet them out for a little bit first.
Good. What are you feeling? Can I jump in, Angie? Is
Please
that
do,
okay?
please do.
When you think about your dating life, Aish, what do you feel in your body?
It's not, I'm not hard on myself for it. I think I just really recently started to get more serious about it. And my schedule is also kind of hard to like really make a lot of time for it right now, at least during the week. So I try not to like, when I look at it, it's more like, oh, I wish I had more time to go on dates, but it's not so much of like, it's not happening fast enough or anything. I'm not quite there yet.
Okay. Well, you may not get there. Like, let's not dress rehearse tragedy in that way. Can I share some thoughts with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So I don't think it's I think that this idea of more dates, i.e. numbers game, I wish I could go on more dates. Like, I don't think that necessarily more dates equals greater chances.
Yeah.
And so in that way, I love that you're not beating yourself up. I love the self-compassionate approach of like, of course I'm busy. Of course I'm struggling. Of course I'm taking this seriously. I'm learning new things. Like, you're doing a great job, first and foremost. And then I think in terms of how can we make it so that the few dates that you go on are the highest quality possible for you, right? Like focusing in on, I wonder if have you gotten in touch with like your deeper preferences, like how you want to feel in the right relationship and what the values and personality traits are?
Yeah, I think I have. I have gone on some successful dates.
Yeah.
And so I try to like hone in on those feelings I had when at the end of the first date, like, was I really excited and did I want to see them again? A big thing is like, am I attracted to them?
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. So it's like things like that I just want to make like, because sometimes people are good on paper and like you get along with them, but like there's no actual connection. So I think I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting too at the end of every first date.
I love that so much. And I think in that way, you're exemplifying, you may not feel this way in the moment. I see it as like you're exemplifying the dating is self-care model. You're tuning in with your intuition. You're trusting your body. You are asking the right questions of yourself and hopefully probably the other people. You are like really honoring your priorities in this life. Like, I think there's this fallacy that the way that women have been working and becoming badasses in their career, like it has shifted for sure in the last 50 years. The way that women are allowing themselves to think about dating hasn't shifted as much in the popular consciousness, I think. I think it's a fallacy that ambitious, successful, powerful women need to in any way dim their accomplishments or dim their anything to find the right person. And as a busy human who has a great career and killing it, like, I love that you set aside Sundays, like you set that boundary. Good job. Yeah. And so I just want to say good job. And if I could recommend anything, it would be the thank you more please challenge. Have you heard this phrase?
No, I have not.
Okay. So this is a way to do in-person dating without having to find people in person all the time. When you see what you want in the real world, even if it's just a tiny sliver of it, like I like to say, when you see a cute person exit a therapy office, or when you flirt with your barista, or when you have an amazing first date, when you're really attracted, I would love to encourage you to say thank you more please out loud. To be like, universe, I see that what I want is possible and available and in front of me, actually literally in front of me. It may not be my person yet, but thank you more please. Thank you more please. I'm ready. Thank you more please. And so in that way, you're really working, if there is any confirmation bias happening of like, oh, it's not going to happen, or oh, I'm so discouraged. Is this how it's going to be forever? Like, this is a way to say, thank you. I see you, brain. And let's also look for evidence that what I want exists in the real world right now.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. Thank you.
Like when I see like people hugging at the airport and stuff, I'm always like, I don't say thank you more please, but I feel that. I'm kind of like, we need more of that. Like, I want that, it's just such you resonate with that feeling. And Aish, I'm just gonna be honest, Aish, but you are a hard worker. And so, and a lot of women are put in positions where like their schedule doesn't allow, in a traditional 9-to-5 situation, especially if they're young and they're climbing the ladder. And Aish, when I saw you last week, you were defeated. You're like, oh my God, I worked all week and then traveled, had to see family.
She's outing you, Aish. She's outing you.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to help you, girl. But I just you were like, and then I have to go on this date, and I was like, how do we sift through and prioritize? And is it a matter of saying, hey man, like maybe I need to change my job, if this is my priority to find love, or is that too drastic? Or I don't know. So I feel like sometimes all of this just like snowballs together and it just becomes overwhelming. And then it ends up with, I can't find anybody and I'm just not happy. Not to say that that's you, Aish, but yeah, I just feel like a lot of people are in this predicament and they're trying to juggle all these balls in the air. And
It is incredible how
Thank
many.
you, Aish.
Thank you, Aish. It's incredible how many amazing women that I work with who are in awesome seeming jobs on the outside. And that after we worked together, they quit their job because they realized that wasn't the most fulfilled they could be. That it wasn't necessarily about dating. Because when they come to me, they're like, I'm too busy. How am I going to make time? How am I going to do this? And then once we do the deeper work of identifying their desires, of identifying their preferences, of really vision casting the life that they want to live with the right partner, they discover that that job wasn't the job for them.
Wow.
Or that city wasn't the city for them. And so I would shift that conversation of should I quit my job because I'm too busy to, are you fulfilled here? Are you really allowing yourself to want what you want? And then in terms of how to screen people, I have an amazing tip for that, which is called qualifying, disqualifying questions.
Okay.
So once you know your deeper preferences, let's say I want somebody compassionate, I want somebody funny, I want somebody family oriented, I want somebody social justice oriented, and I define what all those things mean to me, I call it my love life vocabulary. Then it's about what questions do I need to ask somebody online and in person to gauge whether or not they have that preference, to gauge whether or not they have that personality trait. So, for example, on a dating app, instead of starting with, how's your weekend? Or that's a cute dog. What's its name? Instead of opening with I call those nowhere conversation starters,
Okay.
open with a qualifying, disqualifying question like, what's bringing you joy lately? So when you when you ask that, you are disqualifying the people who don't want to be in an intentional conversation, who just want to mess around. You're disqualifying them. You're also seeing if they're in touch with themselves, if they're in touch with their own joy, if they're in touch with what lights them up.
Yeah.
And how they answer gives you good information.
But people aren't prepared for that, for you to say, hey, what's good? What's good in your life right now? It's just like when people say, how are you doing? I literally look at them, I go, do you really want to know? How long do you have? Because it's just one of those things where people, like you said, it's just so, I don't know, vanilla and so empty. And so do you think that could kind of scare people? We just did a story about this on the news last night, like the first things that you should not say on a dating app, like, want to come over, just the obvious type of stuff. But yeah, so, I mean, can you possibly scare people off by throwing them a curveball like that?
So here's the unconventional truth that I believe, Angie.
Okay.
You are for the few, not for the many. So yes, you will scare people off. And those people were not right for you. So scare them off.
Okay.
So, and you don't have to use that question. There are people who I've worked with who are like, that doesn't feel aligned for me. And I say, great. Maybe it's what are you learning about lately that you could talk about for hours? Or what made you laugh the hardest lately? Just something that aligns with what you want and what you want to know about somebody. So asking those deeper questions really helps to qualify the right people, disqualify the wrong ones. I can't tell you how many relationships I've seen started from my clients asking that question.
Wow. I love that. That is really a great example. Guys, I hope you're taking notes. And girls, I want to bring April in because she had a question. She is joining us once again. April, good to see you, girl.
Hi, I miss you guys.
We're back.
Hi, April.
I know, welcome back. Hi, nice to meet you. Okay, first of all, you need to make a dating app for married people, okay? Because I think sometimes married people forget to learn how to date, honestly. Seriously, I've been married for 12 years and I feel like you and I need to solicit and have a conversation. But I love how you said that, how sometimes we as women come and have lists to say what we want and what we don't want. And it feels like we're going back to that list when you're doing a dating app, such as I don't want someone that doesn't believe in God, and I want someone that likes magic, and I, have all these preferences and all these wants. But it's like, are we getting what we really want, or are we just getting something that we need? So how do you deal with that when you're trying to deal with a dating app?
Yeah, and also along those lines, you always hear about what you should put in your bio. I forgot to ask Aish what's in her bio, but I feel like sometimes you hear the stats, like if you have a dog in your picture, like you're more likely to get more swipes. So general rule of that, and like deciding and being really truthful, and how truthful should you be out the gate? Great question, April. Thanks.
Thank you, April.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I want to do two buckets. First, April's question, and then your question, Angie. So about the checklist preferences, and then about the bio and how to create a bio that is really authentic. Okay. There is a difference between checklist preferences and essence-based preferences. Checklist preferences are like age, height, location, education preference, all those things. You get to want those things, like write them down, acknowledge. Essence-based preferences are, how do I want to feel? Right? How do I want to feel in the presence of this human? What personality traits, values, what do they value? Okay. So I think that people can get to want anything that they want as long as they know how they want to feel with that preference. Because we can't create a snapshot. This isn't Build-A-Bear. We're not going to build somebody with our beautiful list of preferences. This is about, I know what I want because I know how I want to feel, and I am willing to be surprised by how that person shows up in the real world. So it's not about some people overfunction and they are like, I want rigidity. I want this certain resume. Overfunctioning. Underfunctioning sounds like, I don't know if they're nice. If they're nice, I'll go out with them. You get to meet in the middle with, how do I want to feel? If you have an age range, let's use education preference. I have clients who've gone to Ivy League schools, and they say to me, Lily, I really want somebody who's gone to an Ivy like me. And I say, okay, let's get underneath the surface of that. How do you want to feel with somebody who has gone to an Ivy like you? Well, I want to feel intellectually matched. I want to feel met. I want to feel seen. I want to feel like we value the same things in our lives. And I say, great. Is it possible that how you want to feel cannot be contained by what school is on their resume? And so in that way, getting beneath the surface, right? Okay. That's my answer to that question. Now to the dating app bio piece, because give you an example. I am the biggest Gilmore Girls fan that you've ever met. Mm-hmm. Like, I dare you to find somebody who likes it. I've watched the show an embarrassing amount of times. I have been to not one, but two Gilmore Girls fan festivals in Connecticut. Okay. With 1,500 of my closest friends, in which I stood on the stage and I did the debate of which Gilmore Girls boyfriend was the best one. Like, I'm deep. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
If I was dating, I would put a picture of myself at Gilmore Girls Fan Fest on my profile, because I want you, as somebody who's seeing me and seeing whether or not I'm right for you, I want you to see my joy. I want you to see my personality. I want you to see that I'm intense about the things that I love. I also would put on my profile that I was looking for a partnership with the right person to do life with side by side. I would not couch what I'm looking for fear of not being cool enough. Yeah. So that blend of like my light, my joy, my intensity with, here's what I desire, here's what I'm looking for. And in a way that is grounded and not desperate, but is just me. And
do people make that mistake? Do they try to look cool? And
my God. People, I think, Angie, I think that people want to be the wittiest, they want to be, I had somebody on TikTok ask me a question yesterday about how can I be more enticing, quote unquote. In the word enticing is reflective of the of the mindset that she's in, that she feels like she needs to lure people in because her chances feel so low, right? That's a normal human response to seeing a lot of stimuli and your brain making that mean that you're not good enough, pretty enough, interesting enough. So let me be more, quote, enticing. So getting away from, I need to be for everybody, let me play the numbers game, to, I am for the few, not for the many.
I really love that. So the things that you're the most passionate about. So if I was building my profile, it'd be me and like a McDonald's filet of fish and Dolly Parton. I mean, just put it all out there, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I think that in terms of pictures, like a beautiful smiling headshot or a picture your friend's taken for the first picture, second picture, full body, show what you've like, show yourself, allow yourself to be seen in a joyful moment. And then from there, it's all about how can I show joyful bursts of my authenticity and not try to be someone that I'm not, because the right person is also seeking me out.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. People trying to look cool and, just on that first impression. And I guess that's why when people meet in person, they're so surprised so many times. And I know as a matchmaker, you probably have dealt with your share of that as well. But April, thank you so much.
Thank you. Don't forget, we're going to talk about this marriage dating app here.
We're going to talk about your new app and your new business, your new side hustle, Lily.
I know.
Coming up.
Nice
I do
meeting
love
you.
that though. You're so funny. So we talked about some of the mistakes, that people make when it comes to these apps, but we also talk a lot about the in-person. And I know that you made us think of in-person dating in a different way. Like it's almost like you just putting yourself out there. But when you are dealing with time constraints or a job that's a time suck and, or weird times, how do you do that? How do you meet that 60%?
Yeah.
Hanging out with the same friends and you're older, and you're not in like a scene, like a college scene or what's your answer to that? Is there any workarounds?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Tap your network. This is about using your community. And I recently did a workshop called How the Hell to Meet Someone in Person. And I had hundreds of people buy tickets and come because people are hungry for this content. And one of the biggest aha moments that most people walked away with was how to tap your friends into helping you effectively. Because no offense to you swiping on your friends' apps, I don't think that that's the most effective way to help your friends find love. So I think that those qualifying, disqualifying questions that I mentioned earlier, you will share those with your best friends who are your ride or die people. Have a conversation, have a strategy conversation about, we're strategizing for your love life, friend. So let's sit down. I'm going to share my preferences. I'm going to share how I want to feel. And I'm going to share 2 qualifying, disqualifying questions. And our job as a team is to be creative problem solvers. So something that then coupled friends say who want to help their single friends is, I just don't know anybody who's single. I don't have anybody that's good enough for you. So that can be really frustrating to a single friend who is also struggling. She's asking for help. And so as a coupled friend, I think it's appropriate to instead say, I just don't know anybody, to say, what does support look like for you? How can we go into the real world together this month? And maybe I can be your wing woman. How can I, right? And so as a coupled friend, going out with that lens of, I'm a creative problem solver. We are powerful people. We meet new people all the time. Right? Getting into that mindset. And then as a coupled friend who wants to set up a single friend, when you meet somebody awesome, ask them the qualifying, disqualifying question. Hey, what's bringing you joy lately? If you're in a conversation at a bar or at a conference or at a wedding, hey, what's bringing you joy? And then with their answer, you'll get a feeling for them. And then you can say, are you single? That answer really sparked something for me. And I thought of somebody for you.
It's funny. I feel like this is what they used to do in the olden days, like at the beauty salon, you getting their hair done, women's doing their hair, and then they, and then the girl's just talking, and the mom's like, oh, and she asked these, or the hair salon stylist is doing, and is asking these qualified questions, and then it's like, well, I think I know someone for you. And I mean, you hear so many of those old-fashioned stories that happen like that. And so that really kind of took me back to that. So, I don't know why Still Magnolias came to my head, but it's just, it just all makes sense, right? Because a lot of times we kind of go, as materialistic as it sounds, there's a cute guy, I met a cute guy, he's single, like, I think you guys could be, and we don't get past the surface. And it's so easy to ask a question and cut right through it. I feel like that's what you've made clear just now. Aish, if you're still on and you're still my friend, let's see. I know that she has to go to work too. She might have popped up. Oh, she is. If you're still my friend, then you got homework, and I need your questions when I get into work today, because we are tackling this. We're going out into the world.
If you want help with this, I have like 100+ episodes of my podcast that are really diving deep into the strategy of this. So the Date Brazen podcast is a resource for everyone. If you're like, I want to know how to do that, then the Date Brazen podcast is an amazing place to start binging.
Yeah, and datebrazen.com it's all right there. And then from there, you can get to her TikTok, you can get to the podcast, to the coaching sessions that you do. And that's what I want to ask you about too, because as you heard from April and from myself in listening to you, I mean, it's not just about dating. I mean, you help people really kind of just clarify what brings them joy and brings them happiness. Because I feel like once we can tap into that, everything else will center around it. It becomes the nucleus and things fall into place.
Yeah. This is not about how to catch somebody quickly and how to 10 steps to find the right man or whatever. Mm-hmm. This is about how do I create the most loving, compassionate relationship with myself first to prepare my heart for the right relationships moving forward. And that when my friends and when my clients find the best relationships of their lives, the work continues. It's not like, it's not like this person. A lot of people on TikTok recently have been saying, yeah, I'm doing all of this work, but are the people that I'm dating doing all the work? And I feel like I'm the one doing all the emotional labor, and men or women aren't doing the intentional work on their dating lives. So it's really lonely. And to that, I say that's really hard. And the point of this work is not to find a relationship in 10 weeks flat. It's to really change your life and orient around your essence, orient around your joy, to create a wholehearted existence that is full of pleasure. Yeah. Instead of that framing of you have to fix something about yourself to find love. There's nothing to fix.
But I think we all have that person who's like, I'm never going to find anyone. What do we say to that?
Yeah, it totally depends on what you know about the friend. Some people want a pep talk. Some people want you to encourage them. If I were at that table, I'm imagining margaritas in front of us. I'm imagining chips and guacamole that we're eating incessantly. And the friend next to me or across from me says, I just don't think I'm going to find anybody. I would say, that's really hard. I'm here for you. I wouldn't try to say, no, you're wrong. There's so many people out there. You just don't know. I would say, this is a really hard moment and I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And I would be curious about what they were going through instead of trying to push them to believe something, because I like to say what is meant for you will not pass you by. And I believe that what you desire is evidence that it exists. I mean, Angie, think about your beautiful career. You had probably a vision for what you wanted to create. And there might not have been very much evidence in your life yet at the beginning of that vision to prove that it's going to happen for sure. You had to desire it. You had to desire it and then take steps forward to manifesting it and creating it. And so in that way, people, like, I believe that the desire is evidence that it can come into being. And some people say that feels too heavy. I don't believe that yet. I don't believe that what I desire will come to pass. I don't believe that what is meant for me will not pass me by. So then I say, that's okay, because I'll believe it for you until you can pick that up for yourself.
Yeah.
It's not a deal breaker that your brain is trying to protect you right now. Our brains are always trying to protect us from rejection. And so that's why I think resetting your nervous system and allowing yourself to feel your feelings is so important, so that then you can pick up that belief for yourself when it is available.
I love that. And because it kind of reminds me of what Oprah said, but there were times in my career where, I did, put it out there. And because my job was the love of my life at the time, right? And so everything was like poured into it. And then there were things that I wanted so bad and worked so hard for, but yet they never came to fruition. You're this close and something just doesn't come through. And it was crushing it and defeating. And it's almost like, but it worked against me. It worked against me because I was so fixated on A, B, and C. And then when it didn't happen, everything else sucked. I didn't care about anything else. So I think that, when we say putting it out in the world, there still has to be a process to it. We can't just say what we want. And more importantly, we can't get consumed by it. Right.
Absolutely. I think that becoming attached to if then thinking, if I find a relationship, then I will be complete. If I get the job, then I will be more worthy or valuable. I think that is dangerous. And the work of getting in the energy of what you want means putting yourself in the way of opportunity and then having your own back when inevitably rejection happens. Rejection happens when you are putting yourself out there. No matter what it is. I mean, I just went through the process of searching for a literary agent, and I was rejected so many times.
I'm there with you.
Oh my God. And I remember going on my group coaching calls with my clients and feeling like, oh my God, I'm right there with you, feeling the hard feelings of rejection. And the work that I've gotten to do really allows me to be a loving witness to my own brain when that happens, to have my own back, to say to myself, I'm willing to feel anything to be with you. There's nothing you could say, do, or feel that would make me want to stop being your friend. So that then I can process it instead of saying, oh, that's a bad feeling. I don't want to feel that. I got to feel it. It was hard. And then when I did find my literary agent and she was on board immediately with me, I was like, I didn't expect it to end up this way. I didn't expect this connection to work out this well. And how divine, how beautiful that I had my own back. It led to finding more, and moving through rejection in those valleys was a part of it.
What is meant for you will not pass you by, right? Yes. That is what you say. Gosh, I feel like I could talk to you forever, just about everything dating, but also just about finding yourself really and going after what you really want and finding your pure joy. I feel like the strategies that you share, I do have to ask, and this is just me being curious, but as a matchmaker, I feel like you have stories up the gazoo. Like anything crazy happen or any wild stories or weird stories and weird situations that other people would relate to, or I don't know.
Well, I think that a lot of them are, there aren't many funny stories. Let me just say that. There are many stories that are like, whoa, I can't believe that. Like,
I assume you see the best and the worst of people in that position.
Yeah, I did. And that's why I really wanted to pivot to building my own business and being a coach, because now I get to attract people in that are really looking for what I want to provide. But before that, I think that women that pay for matchmakers are looking for a solution. Of course, they are feeling a little bit tense. I just spent a ton of money. It is out of my control. I don't know if I can trust this company, right? All of those things go into the energy of working with a matchmaker. And so when somebody, let's say I would set them up on a date, I had hundreds and thousands, I did the math, thousands of phone conversations to vet people for my clients. And that's where I created the qualifying, disqualifying question system. And I would talk to men who were appalling, Angie.
Like, what would they say? I mean,
well, so I'm a mid-size woman who's curvy, and I would be on the phone with these men, and I think that women over a size 6 are like gross. I don't like that. Like, and I would have to listen to them. And then there was dating is a hotbed for racism and for fat phobia and for homophobia and all of these things. So then my matchmaking colleagues who were women of color would be hearing these microaggressions and macroaggressions from potential dates for our clients, right? So it was this very hard job that wasn't always like, sometimes there were moments of joy, but there were also moments where we'd set somebody up and he would come in and look at the client that we set him up with because it was a blind date, and he wouldn't be attracted and he'd leave.
What do you do?
What do you do? There's nothing, like, all we could do is hold space for that client and her feelings, of course, and that was my learning ground for being a great coach of like, wow, that really sucks. And I'm going to be here with you to hold space with you until you can move through this. Now, I am not a therapist, and I only work with people who see therapists outside of our work, because I learned that dating brings up a lot of stuff. It's that microcosm.
And what you see, I mean, this is what people, men and women, are dealing with on a daily basis. And they're internalizing it, and they're dealing it. It's easy to see why they want to give up, and why they are just, the life is sucked out of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that's why I only do, like, I do some high level one-on-one work, but I mainly only do group work, like group coaching, because belonging in community is the most life-changing tool. Like, my clients, I'm the best. Look, Angie, I believe I'm the best at what I do, and that other dating coaches are the best at what they do, and that we're all adding our own best to the mix. My clients, I believe that they are the experts of what they need, that they are their own best answer, and that my job is to help them arrive to their own brilliance. My job is to give them tools so that they can be their own best advocate. I have great tools, and they have their best solutions when they're empowered with the right community and the right support.
Yeah. And there's something you said, there's strength in numbers, right? Strength in community, strength in numbers. It's not an effortless, you can't do this and just expect things to come to you. There is a little level of work involved. And I think that the more people you have around, good people, that really know what you want, and that involves listening and asking these questions, then you're going to have more chance of success than swiping 20 million times.
Yeah.
And going on 20 million dates. Deep Thoughts with Lily Womble. I really love it. You are so fantastic, and we really appreciate you joining us. I don't know if anybody else wants to jump on stage. Let me see here. I love how, April, she joined in, and just said how growth is so important. And I feel like
I'm going to be in DC doing a workshop called How to Attract Love with Your Main Character Energy on November 17th. And the ticket is in the link in my bio on all social platforms. So would love to see you in person.
Oh my God. And I'd love to see you too. Aish, we go. November 17th. Mark your calendar.
It's at the Gorgeous Line Hotel.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're going to have cocktails, and I would love to meet you in person too, Angie. It would be so fabulous.
I know, it'd be so fun. And I can listen. Single, married, whatever. I'm all about the main character energy, right? We all need to have that main character energy. We don't have time to be the extras in the background. No. And with that said, so Lily, where can we find out more about you? Where can we follow you? Where can we follow up?
Amazing. So Date Brazen on all social platforms. I am mainly on TikTok. So go find me there at Date Brazen, DateBrazen, and datebrazen.com. The Date Brazen podcast is where every single week I'm giving actionable mindset and strategy tools to arrive to the best relationship of your life. And I also have an amazing guide that is totally free called The Guide to Make Dating Feel Like Self-Care. And it is a journaling guide, and it'll really walk you step by step through what I've been talking about today. And you can find that at datebrazen.com.
Awesome. Lily Womble, Date Brazen, CEO and founder. Thank you so much. Thank you.